of our boss Mustafa happens to be the secretary to the government of the federation, talking about we also need to look to another non-pharmaceutical ways of fighting the COVID-19, which take us back to the guidelines that were in place, because it seems so many people have been throwing caution to the wind lately.
Yeah, it's actually what I said like a few days ago, that I said on my social media handles, that it seems that Nigerians, especially those in Lagos and Abuja, they have actually forgotten that COVID-19 exists. You know, I think it is now foreign to their ears when you say COVID-19, coronavirus or something. They'll be like, does that still really exist in Nigeria? Because they have gone about their regular normal day activities on like when they used to do before the whole lockdown, and that's what I was saying, that the way the things work in Nigeria, if you lift, even if you just lift the lockdown measures by a little, a lot of people are not going to understand that. They will think you have already lifted, so life will be normal. And you know, that was just what we saw when they actually lifted the lockdown a little bit, and I say, okay, markets could open at some certain days, and then you see
the crowd
in market, when you basically go to Balogun market in Lagos, for example, where we saw the pictures there.
Yes,
there wasn't any space between the humans within the market, so it was just the regular way of doing their things when they were not under lockdown. So they continued that process as well.
There's a question somebody asked yesterday. Okay, fine, for people who are claiming to be ignorant of the fact that COVID-19 is here, and they are trying to say, okay, or trying to doubt the existence of COVID-19, does that mean, whether COVID-19 or not, does that mean we don't have to live clean? Must we live dirty? When they say wash your hands regularly, and then don't be in crowded places.
Exactly.
Whether with COVID-19 or not,
it is still to your advantage if you decide to be clean. And then yesterday we recorded 594 cases, and as usual, Lagos always topping the list with and this time around the top list is 159, which is a bit less than what we used to get. But surprisingly, data came second on the list, and then you're wondering how did that happen? Yeah, so data came coming in second on the list with 106 cases, Ondo with 44, FCT with 34, and then Oyo that we just discussed coming in with 33, which is still quite huge. And then surprisingly, if you notice, Kano, that seems as if
they were going to take over the whole...
Yes, they were basically out of control. Now, for some days, we've not had any cases. We've not had any report of cases. We don't know if
testing has been going on there. That's one part we need to look at.
Exactly. So that's Kano is just where it used to be, and all of that. And this is basically talking about COVID-19. Like you said, some people do not believe. People need to believe that there is COVID-19. I think is the lack of belief, the disbelief of people that there is no COVID-19 is the reason why we are having high numbers in COVID-19. People should understand that yesterday we sadly lost the ex-governor of Oyo State, and he died not from any other sort of sickness. He died from the COVID-19 virus.
Yeah, they say complications from COVID-19.
Yeah, so that is to basically say that actually COVID-19 is real and people are dying from COVID-19. Honestly,
you were talking about a video we really need to play.
Okay, yes. Yeah, so basically, maybe we'll just take a look at this. Cybercrime, war against cybercrime has basically been, every country have been putting efforts to see how they can combat cybercrime. Here in Nigeria, we have the EFCC, the ICPC, and the police fraud unit doing that, and then we have the Interpol, we have the FBI doing all this. But then we know we have a lot of big shots
when it comes to cybercrime.
Yes, we have some big shots players, and then one of them was Hush Puppy Ray. Yeah, Hush Puppy Ray was or is, or should I say was? No, he is basically still alive. So I'm trying to really look the right verb to use. Was, okay, let's just say was, because as at the time he was really a big baller on the Instagram and Snapchat, social media. So, but then the Dubai police caught up with him, and the statistics that they released, the result of their investigation, whatever they released, is staggering. Really staggering. But then, before we discuss more about it, let's look at the video of his arrest. Right. You know, how, with some few explanations to it, how the whole process went, and then we'll come back and discuss it. So let's look at Hush Puppy Ray arrest in Dubai.
Hush Puppy on social media platforms. In less than just 4 months, Dubai's police force was able to solve the new operation, dubbed Fox Hunt 2, where 12 other gang members were also arrested. Six raids were carried out simultaneously while the suspects were sleeping in their Dubai residences. After months of investigating and hours of monitoring the gang's social media accounts, a team of highly trained Dubai police officers were able to confirm the gang's whereabouts and fraudulent activities. The Nigerian Instagram celebrity, who was arrested on multiple fraud charges for crimes committed in different parts of the world, boasted about his wealth and expensive possessions on social media, claiming he is a successful businessman. Little did Abbas know, Dubai e-police teams were tracking his every move and taking note of all his social media activities. Hush Puppy and his team of scammers were known for creating fake pages for existing websites in order to redirect victims' payments to their own accounts. Dubai police have also found that the gang specialised in hacking corporate emails and sending fake messages to clients in order to redirect financial transfers and people's bank details to their own accounts. Before their arrest, Abbas and his crew members were responsible for scams amounting to 1.6 billion dirhams. In the operation, police officers were also able to seize items worth more than 150.
Wow. Just wow. Imagine that defrauding over 1.9 million people, and in the process, him and his gang had amassed about 168 billion naira.
Naira or dollar?
Billion naira.
Yeah.
168 billion naira. So imagine now. Okay. Let's not even look at the huge amount of 168 billion naira right now. But let's look at the fact that you will cause ruins. You cause what do you call it? Hardship in the life of 1.9 million people.
Putting them into penury and all.
Yes, that is.
You know, when we came back, and I don't even know the name. I like to give that expression you gave. Wow, it sounded like a heave of relief, and it sounded like an exclamation.
Because basically, like, I wouldn't have expected that you would defraud people, 1.9 million people of their hard-earned money, cause them untold pain, hardship, and you know. The thing is, most of these people that they might have just defrauded might just be like their last money, whatever they were going to rely on, and then. But the 1.9 billion people.
I saw some information when his arrest was made about 2 weeks ago, right? And we talked about that on this platform, and I was like, okay, this is supposed to be money meant for the social security of these citizens, and especially there's a part of the story that traced this money that's supposed to come as a form of relief packages or palliatives during this COVID-19. And then we know how hard COVID-19 has already made life of people already. And then, like, that's inhumane. Like, I don't even know how to explain it.
Yeah, and basically, then we remember, I remember that at the time, US were complaining that within 2 weeks, their, what they call unemployment claims had increased by 3 million. So it means that people, so they thought that genuinely people were losing their jobs. Not knowing that some scammers were somewhere using their citizens' security details to fight for what you call unemployment claims. And then US were paying this, and then this amounted to a lot of millions. I remember there was a time that issue came up with this guy, Hush Puppy, and then people were like, what exactly do you do? And then he said he's a motivational speaker. But then, do you have any video
showing where maybe you on the podium, addressing
people and motivating them? Then you say you're a motivational speaker. How did that come? Now the thing is, everybody knew that his wealth was ill-gotten. But then we live in a society whereby it doesn't matter how you got your money. All that is important to people is that you have money, and then people are willing to associate with you. While he was the big boy, a free man and whatever, he rode with some of the big popular people that we basically know in this country and all of that. And these were people that who were also aware that this guy is most probably a fraudster. But yet they go ahead and then they give legitimacy to his wealth.
That takes us back to the value system in the society, where we tend to glorify and gratify people unnecessarily without really doing proper checks on how maybe they come about their wealth and their money. And we need to revalue or revisit our value system in the society.
We really need to do that. And I think it was because of that this former president, Jonathan, was thinking about introducing the Ministry of Values and Ethics. Although I personally thought that it was just another way of compensating people, but then at the same time, it was a needed. It was still a needed kind of ministry or kind of something. But I think that if we're going to have a values and ethics something, then we should get the National Orientation Agency to be up to task, to be up and doing about stuff like
still
that.
Talking about Hush Puppy, when they claimed that he was a motivational speaker, and then I didn't see that reflect on his social media, maybe in his bio and all of that. And then it got to a point when Monfa was arrested, he now changed his bio from Gucci ambassador or whatever to a real estate investor. And people were like, okay, what happened? You just change your occupation overnight because maybe some things are going on.
Yeah, and then the good thing is that with this arrest, the good thing with this arrest is that there are several other people like him that we know that are still flaunting their words on the gram and everything that we know. With his arrest, it means that it's just a matter of time. Their own time too is going to come.
We're talking about
where they are going to account for their sins.
We're talking about another issue of cyber crime. We made reference to it. That was Offset, yourself and me, when Hush Puppy was arrested. That was about Obi Invictus.
Okay.
Yes, and the number of people he dragged in when he was arrested. Like he caught so many names. So this statement now you remind me of.
But this is not the point where I'm not thinking that he's going to snitch on other people or whatever.
But definitely,
I know that
other people will have their deeds too.
Yes, there are other people, and we know them. We can't begin to mention their names here, but we know them. They are popular on Instagram. They are verified. But then with time, first it was Monfa, now it's Hush Puppy. Next time we are going to find the next big executive.
I think something actually happened that I want to see maybe more like divine. Hush Puppy, normally when people are actually balling big as they use it, they tend to hang with the celebrities. But Hush Puppy is one person that has never been able to with almost celebrities.
But he has, because I've seen some decent pictures of him with some certain celebrities in Nigeria. So he has, including footballers. Yes. All right. So maybe for now we'll move on to the news desk with Susan Archie and see what she has for us on the news bulletin.
Now the match don't start. Tunde na him first catch coronavirus. Him pass am to Sarah. Sarah go market and she dash Adamu. Adamu carry the virus run, come give him children for house. Now so the children carry the virus enter playground. From playground, it can't enter grandpa body. Grandpa take over, pass and give him friends as they shake hand for road. Now so grandpa friends carry coronavirus go their house. Before you know, they don't throw away and give everybody for yard. Now so corona enter box 18 and he say go. My people, if we give coronavirus chance, it go win all of us. Protect yourself and your family. Stay inside your house and make sure say you dey wash your hand with soap and water at least 12 times a day. If you get cough and fever and it dey hard you to breathe, call 0800 026 7662. Corona dey kill. Make we careful o.
Good morning and welcome to AM News. I am Susan Achin. In a late-night tweet on its official handle on Thursday, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has revealed that Nigeria now has 22,614 COVID-19 cases after recording 594 fresh cases of the virus for the day. Of the number of total infections in the country, 7,822 have been discharged, with 549 deaths recorded. Now, former governorship aspirant of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Edo State, Kenneth Imaswagbon, has said that he stepped down for Governor Obaseki because he wants godfatherism to be defeated. Mr. Imaswagbon also said Governor Obaseki's performance as the leader of Edo State inspired him to set aside his ambition. He said this on Thursday during the PDP governorship primary election in Edo State held in Benin City, saying that he wants Obaseki to continue his impressive work. According to him, he has been a victim of godfatherism and will have the Edo leader fight anyone who wants to enslave the people. Meanwhile, the Dubai Police Force, United Arab Emirates UAE, have released details of the alleged fraud committed by Instagram celebrity Raymond Igbalode, better known as Hush Puppy. In a video published by Dubai Police on Thursday, the security agency said they have been tracking Hush Puppy and his gang for about 4 months. The Dubai Police said it dubbed the operation, which nabbed the Instagram celebrity and his gang Fox Hunt 2. According to the police, Hush Puppy and his men scammed about 1,926,400 persons from several parts of the world and committed fraud amounting to 1.6 billion dirham, equivalent to 168 billion naira. And on a sad note, former governor of Oyo State, Senator Abiola Ajimobi, has died following a battle with the deadly coronavirus. As at the time of his death, the lawmaker was aged 70. Ajimobi had been hospitalized in Lagos earlier on in June, and there were reports that he was recuperating. However, contrary reports which emerged afterwards suggested that the former governor's health continued to deteriorate following COVID-19 complications. It was also rumored last week that the senator had passed on. However, the special advisor to Ajimobi on communication and strategy, Bolaji Tunji, dismissed the rumors in a statement. The news of his death on Thursday has been confirmed by aides and some family members, as well as other elder statesmen and political bigwigs in the country. And on to the entertainment scene, South African singer Shoma Josie is taken to social media to accuse Burna Boy of taking down Own It remix in which she featured. Own It by British rapper Stormzy originally features Ed Sheeran and Burna Boy. Majosi, in a recent social media post, stated that Burna Boy was threatened by her nomination in the same category as him at the BET Awards, which was why he took it down. However, Burna Boy has taken to his Twitter page and in his response to the accusation said he had nothing to do with it. And that's it on AM News. I am Susan Achin. We now go across Africa for some more news. Stay with us.
Africa, Africa.
Welcome to News Across Africa on Daybreak Africa. The Tunisian President Kais Saied said his country would not accept a divided Libya at a news conference with French President Emmanuel Macron in Paris on Monday. Saied is the first head of state to visit France since the country's deconfinement due to the pandemic. Libya has been in turmoil since 2011 when a NATO-backed uprising overthrew leader Muammar Gaddafi, who was later killed. The country has since been divided into rival administrations in the east and west, each supported by armed groups and various foreign governments. France is pushing for a ceasefire as a priority in Tunisia's neighbor, which has been in turmoil since 2011 when a NATO-backed uprising toppled leader Muammar Gaddafi, who was later killed. Prosecutors on Monday sought to overturn former Ivorian President Laurent Gbagbo's acquittal last year on crimes against humanity charges stemming from his alleged role in post-election violence that killed 3,000 people nearly a decade ago. Gbagbo and former Ivorian Youth Minister Charles Bleguode have been both unable to return to the West African nation since their January 2019 acquittals under the terms of their release set by the International Criminal Court. They remain in Belgium and have handed over their passport awaiting their trial. Their trial had been halted at the halfway stage when the court said prosecutors had failed to prove their case. In appealing that decision, the prosecutor's office said that the decision was legally and procedurally defensive. In appealing that decision, the prosecutor's office said the decision was legally and procedurally defective, such that it cannot have the legal effect of dismissing all charges against Laurent Gbagbo and Mr. Bleguode. The authorities in Central African Republic have enforced the wearing of a mask and reducing crowds, two measures to limit the spread of coronavirus. Here at the Mortuary Community Hospital in the capital, Bangui, it is difficult to enforce social distancing measures. Security forces have been deployed at the entrance to limit the number of people in the facility. Faced with the huge populations without masks and barrier measures, the security officials have all the trouble in the world to explain their work to their grieving families. But other citizens understand these sacrifices. The Central African Republic has recently eased some of the measures adopted in March to contain the spread of the coronavirus. President Faustin Archange Touadéra announced that this realization will be accompanied by a requirement that masks be systematically worn in public spaces. Most Central Africans still expect the distribution of face masks. Thousands of health workers in Tunisia on Wednesday took to the streets to demand reform in the country's health sector. The march was in response to calls for a general strike across all public hospitals. It also comes at a time the North African countries entering what is said to be the post-COVID-19 era as government moves to relax restrictions and open the economy. Othman Jaouli, Secretary General of the General Health Federation within the UGDT, told the press that professionals in the field are insisting on the particularity of the sector for the implementation of a specific reform for the medical sector. The law will provide a framework for all existing sectors to define the legislative procedures of interprofessional organization and to organize salaries, bonuses, and so on. During the COVID-19 crisis, there were only 2 or 3 professionals that did not stop working and fulfill their responsibilities to the country. The coronavirus pandemic has infected 1,157 people in Tunisia. 50 people have died with 1,020 recoveries as against 87 recoveries as of June 22, according to Johns Hopkins University tracker. Voters in Malawi have already started casting their ballots yesterday in crucial presidential rerun, pitting President Peter Mutharika and opposition leader Lazarus Chakwera. Yesterday's vote was necessitated after courts nullified the result of the May 2019 election. Some 6.8 million Malawians were eligible to cast their ballots at more than 5,000 polling stations across the country. The Constitutional Court on February 3, 2020 ordered that the election be held again, ruling that the first results were not valid because of widespread evidence of irregularities and vote tampering. The court struck down the victory of incumbent President Peter Mutharika, citing evidence of voting fraud, including thousands of ballots that appeared to have been altered using typing correction fluid. The ruling was upheld by the Malawi Supreme Court. In the 2019 poll, 7 presidential candidates contested, but now the number has come down to 2. The 79-year-old Mutharika, looking for a second and final 5-year term in office, is up against the leader of the opposition Malawi Congress Party, Lazarus Chakwera, who is 65. Red pens were thrown on the statue of Hubert Leyte, the former French governor of colonies in Morocco, Algeria, Madagascar, and Indochina, and eventually Minister of Paris during the First World War. It is a new manifestation of the rejection of slavery and colonialist figures born after the African-American George Floyd was killed by a white policeman in Minnesota. Demonstration also in Lille, in front of the statue of Fendebre, responsible for the massacre of several tens of thousands of people in present-day Senegal. Also in Paris, protesters attacked the figure of philosopher Voltaire, whose fortune was partly based on the colonial pact. Faced with calls from Afro-descendants in France and the West Indies to decolonize history, French President Emmanuel Macron has said he will not unbolt the statue. That is the much we have for you on News Across Africa. Yeah, welcome back from News Across Africa. A lot happening around the African continent, and then we know that the crisis in Libya has been persistent, and it's actually a thing of, I don't know how to put it, But the lesson president from Tunisia coming out to say that the country will not recognize a divided Libya. I don't know if that's actually a good way to go, or I don't know if he was saying that simply because he was really the president of France or something, whether he was influenced to say so, because France too has interest in Libya.
The intention may be good, which is more to foster peace, but the approach, it's not. I think it tampers on the sovereignty of Libya, even though we're trying to see some division and everything, which may not really go down well.
Yes, and during his time while he was alive, Gaddafi was seen like somebody who was a very terrible. In fact, the US and other Western countries called him the mad dog. And we're talking about terrible leaders, people who were perceived to be terrible leaders. You also know that in Ivory Coast, the former president who was charged to the ICC for crimes against humanity and then was acquitted for those crimes, that there was no evidence against that. And so now Gbagbo is to come back to Cote d'Ivoire, and his supporters are also urging him to stand for the presidential election that is coming up very soon in the country.
Wow.
What do you think?
A whole lot actually happened right there. On that particular issue, I'd just like to reserve my comment.
All right, then, since you reserve your comment, I reserve mine too. Maybe we can just go to the newspaper review segment, and
I'd like to start because I have some interesting story here, and the first paper we'll be taking a look at is the Nation newspaper, and we have the banner headline here. We say is APC NWC, that is the National Working Committee. How Buhari ambushed NEC members. President's proposals endorsed without room for debate. Sacked National ESCO members, more legal option. And then below that, we have this sad one here. Ajimobi dies at 70. Buhari, governors, others, mourn ex-Oyo governor. Tinubu pays a tribute. Now let's take a look at some stories which we have above the nameplate. Hush Puppy swindled victims of 160 billion naira. Scammed 1.9 million. Say please. That's actually one of our major concerns for the day we open the show with. And then beside that, Obaseki is PDP candidate as Imasu Agbon steps down. Community policing kicks off in Lagos. 3 committees named. That story can be found on the page 4 of the Nation newspaper. Then you can do it by picking a copy of the Nation newspaper to get the details of these stories and more.
Yes, the sad story of the ex-governor for your state, Ajimobi, dying at 70. And when he clocked 70, he said he's the first male in his family to reach 70. Yeah, so that's a record that we hope that his children are going to surpass. Yeah. So move on to the next paper, which is the Guardian newspaper, and it's running wide here with a major headline that says APC may disintegrate. Buhari won, sacks the NWC. That story started on the front page and continued on page 6. And the picture story there is that of the president and other APC member yesterday at the FEC chambers during the NWC and NEC meeting of the APC. And below the picture story there, COVID-19 disruptions may raise cancer, HIV, TB cases, death globally. Yeah, this is by experts. And I think it's a legit warning. Yeah, because it seems like everything now is focused on COVID-19 and not on other cases. So other cases are being
shoved aside,
like you may say.
And there are consequences for that.
Definitely.
Which is what I've warned us against.
Below the picture study there goes on. Federal government delighted as Ghana offers to rebuild diplomatic structure. Yeah, of course, because that's just the only way to really appease. You can't demolish another country's embassy in your country and then just apologize. You have to rebuild it.
You remember when we were talking about that, Messenger said those apologies do it for Nigerians, and I was like, I think the Ghana president talked about investigations ongoing so that the perpetrators can be brought to book. And then she said, are we still okay with that? I said, maybe a rebuilding of it would be nice.
And I think, yes, that's it. So that story is continued on page 3. Gunmen kill police officers, 7 civilians in Katsina and Plateau. Get details of that on page 5.
Another case of insecurity there. Waging war against our security personnel and even innocent citizens. And most times I begin to wonder, like, what is the cause they're actually fighting for? This criminal element or this bandit, as the case may be.
Where it's always the genesis for violence, for wars in the first place was the battle for resources, for survival. Yes, human beings are competitive. Living things are basically less and competitive, and you will find that in this animal kingdom. So most times this killing, violence is actually as a result of survival and fighting for resources.
Okay, we just pray we find a way around all of these
Definitely we should.
plenty challenges that we faced in the country. Let's take a look at headlines from the Punch newspaper, and then we have the screamer here. Oshomole-backed NWC Des Buhari says NEC meeting illegal. You can find out on the page 2 of the Punch newspaper. APC picks Yobe governor as caretaker head, Oyetola, Nnamani, others as member. We are consulting our lawyers, stakeholders on next line of action. Sacked ESCO. Decision not meant to whittle down Tinubu's influence, says caretaker panel chair. And then when you step down below the picture story, you have headlines like APC writes INEC fixes July 20th for Ondo governorship primary. That story is also on the page 2 of the Punch newspaper. And then George knocks EFCC over unreliable evidence, frees OAUX VC. And then Bossa, you can check that out on the page 12 of the Punch newspaper. And I'll take this last one. Ogun tops Southwest drug abuse chart. That is coming from the commissioner, commissioner of what? You can pick a copy of the National Daily to get the details of that particular story and even more.
Definitely can get there, and drug abuse issues very worrisome.
Yeah, quite worrisome.
And just surprising that it's Ogun State. And I won't be okay. I'm actually surprised because I would have thought it to be Lagos, but then it's Ogun State, the highest drug abuse cases in Southwest. Well, let's move on to the Daily Times, and the Daily Times here have a major headline that says Oshomole Giadom lose out as APC dissolves NWC, names Governor Boni, others as caretaker committee members, rectifies Edo-Guba primary results. Buhari expresses worry over shifting loyalty and inconsistent leadership. Full details of that story can be found on page 2. Boni evolves 25-year post-insurgency development plan. That's commendable from the government there, and you find details of that story more on page 13. Ogun has only 7 patients in isolation center, says Commissioner. Fantastic news there from Ogun State. Edo 2020, Obaseki emerges PDP candidate. You find that story inside the Daily Times newspaper. COVID-19. Niger reduces tax to cushion economic impact. Full details of that you find inside the Daily Times newspaper. And the picture story here is that of the chairman, APC caretaker committee, Governor Boni, talking to pressmen after the NWC NEC meeting yesterday in Abuja.
Wow.
Yes, and then let me just also remind them that we are going to be having Honorable Daniel Atai on set. Yeah, so we'll discuss these issues around the APC, the legality of it, and what it actually portends for the APC going forward, and then looking at what happens and what the game plan is for 2023.
Even from the studio, I'm already anticipating that.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at headlines from the Daily Sun, and we take it from top to the bottom. Beside the nameplate, Imo government demolishes Okorocha's tunnels. That story can be found on page 26 of that this National Daily. We've seen that. This is not the first time where a governor comes in and then trying to rubbishes maybe some of the things that the past governor has put in place, and we tend to see that has been one of the major reasons for the setback we have from this part of the world.
Well, in this particular case, I agree with you, but in this particular case, I wouldn't think that it is the governor rubbishing what his ex-governor did, because I think I know the tunnels that he's talking about, and then when you see those tunnels, although they were nicely built, but then they weren't properly planned when building. So when it rains, so you see water settles at the base of the tunnel.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it basically defeats the purpose of whatever it was built for. So so it needed. So maybe perhaps it's going to be demolished and but to me,
built in a proper manner.
Yeah, but to me, what worries me is that taxpayers' money has been wasted.
Exactly the angle I was trying to look at it from. All right, we have another one here. Court throws out suit seeking removal of Deputy Senate President Omo Agege. You can check that out on the page 5 of the Daily Sun. And then sadly, the banner headline is reporting the death of ex-governor with the caption, COVID-19 claims another big fish, ex-governor Ajimobi. Fayemi marking the northern governors, others mourn. You can actually check that out on the page 2 and page 8 of the Daily Sun. And then Nigeria on brink of severe recession, World Bank warns. Then I'll take this last one that is talking about the series of challenges in the ruling All Progressive Congress. End of rule for Oshomole. Ex-Edo governor loses out as APC NEC dissolves NWC. Appoint Yobe governor acting chairman. We will challenge the action in court. Oshomole supporters, how he met his Waterloo. All of that stories can be found on page 3 and page 6 of the Daily Sun.
Wonderful. Then so move on to the Daily Trust. The Daily Trust, so you have below the nameplate, confessions of Adogi's Syria baby rapist. A very sad one there. You find full details of that on page 7. Bandits attack 2 Katsina villages, kill 7 people. Full details we find on page 4. And the major headline there is Oshomole's camp must court action as Boni takes charge. Our party is heading for collapse. This is coming from the president. ETA suspended, and that is also as a result of the meeting that they had yesterday. You find that on page 5. The picture 3 there is that of the swearing in of the Yobe governor as the caretaker chairman committee, as the caretaker committee chairman, by the Attorney General of the Federation in the State House yesterday. Below the picture story, Nigeria startups get UK grant for COVID-19 invention. Full details on page 5. Nigerian High Commission in Ghana had no required document. Full details on page 6. And that is all on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. And then we move on to the next.
Yeah, quickly we move on to this day newspaper, and we have the banner headline here with the caption, in a deft move, Buhari pulls APC from the brink. NEC, that's NEXAC, Oshomole-led NWC. Yobe governor head 13-man caretaker committee. NEC orders party members to withdraw court cases. Sacked NWC kicks gears off for legal battle. And now we just take a look at maybe some few more headlines from this publication. And the very first headline we have from there above the nameplate says, President Governors Tinubu PDP mourn Ajimobi. Then CBN, 17 banks request to restructure 32,000 customers' loans. Then below the nameplate, before the banner headline, you have, with Obaseki's victory in PDP primary, stage set for rematch with Ize Yamo. That story can be found on page 8. And I remember sometimes we were talking about this is more like a switch of what happened in the 2016 election in Edo State.
Yeah, exactly. Just what it is. So let's move on to the last paper for the day, which is the Business Day newspaper. And on the front page, boldly written, they are giving us 10 insights from World Bank's latest reports on Nigeria. You want to find out what those reports are, you get the Business Day newspaper instead on the front page and continued on page 4. And beside the picture story there, investors post 558 billion naira unsuccessful bids in T-bills and federal government bonds. Full details are continued on page 4. And inside, you'll find an interesting story of how rich Nigerians eye dual citizenship as escape route for worsening social infrastructure. Yeah, so I don't know. Nigerian banks face higher rates as recession beckons, says World Bank. Yes, like you said in your previous paper, that the World Bank is warning that Nigeria is going to be heading to that worst recession. Yeah. Oh, well, we're going to see that, and therefore the fact that rich Nigerians are in dual, I think that has been the goal of every rich Nigerian trying to get dual citizenship for themselves and their children, because it basically shows that a lot of people do not have confidence in the country, in the prosperity of the country. Yeah, as well. So, like we said earlier, we're going to be having Daniel Atai. After this quick break, we are going to be having Daniel Atai as a guest, and then we will discuss all of the issues surrounding the APC. Yesterday, the lesson the solution will look whether it's legal. He will tell us whether those actions are legal, whether they are in less consonance or in agreement with the party's constitution itself, and all of those things. So we get to get more information or get answers to this question more after this quick break, and when we have Honorable Daniel Atai with us. Stay with us.
Now the match don't start. Tunde na him first catch coronavirus. Him pass am to Sarah. Sarah go market and she dash Adamu. Adamu carry the virus run come give him children for house. Now so the children carry the virus enter playground. From playground, it can't enter grandpa body. Grandpa take over, pass and give him friends as they shake hand for road. Now so grandpa friends carry coronavirus go their house. Before you know, they don't throw away and give everybody for yard. Now so corona enter box 18 and he say go! My people, if we give coronavirus chance, it go win all of us. Protect yourself and your family. Stay inside your house and make sure say you dey wash your hand with soap and water at least 12 times a day. If you get cough and fever and it dey hard you to breathe, call 0800 026 7662. Corona dey kill. Make we careful o.
Thank you for staying with us, and thank you for joining us. Like I said earlier, we'll be having Honorable Daniel Atai here, and so Daniel Atai is here in the studio with us. Good morning, Mr. Honorable Dan.
Morning, and thanks for having me.
Good morning, Honorable.
Good morning.
Good to have you join us this morning.
Thank you.
And the smiles on your face, I don't know if it's really what happened yesterday at the
neck meeting.
Yes, at the meeting. We don't know if that's what's making you smile so far.
No, not at all. What transpired at the neck meeting yesterday was a colossal disappointment to me as a person, and to most Nigerians, especially because it relates to the governing party. Because decisions that could be taken or made from a ruling or governing party could affect the socio-political and economic lifestyles of Nigerians or the citizens. So therefore, if the party is unstable, the country perhaps ideally could be unstable.
So you said it was a let's say some colossal disappointment to you.
Yes.
What were you expecting? What outcomes were you personally expecting?
Yes, what I was actually expecting, and on the side of the law, like the APC have their constitution, is that the faction of the Victor Gadam, who was the deputy national secretary of the party, by law was not supposed to be the acting national chairman of the party. I am not a factional believer in political party orchestration, but then what is stipulated in your handout, in your constitutional guideline in the party, should be substantiated and followed, duly followed. If it is not followed, then I see dictatorial tendencies or a kind of maneuvering to suit some personalities in the party, or for the fear of, like they said, 2023.
Okay, I like the fact that you are trying to pick the fault from more like the root or the foundation.
Yes.
Ordinarily, who was supposed to be the national chairman, especially after the suspension of Adam Soshomole.
Of course.
But ordinarily, most people feel Gaydom was the problem of the party, in quote, this particular issue we're trying to deal with at the moment. But after the dissolution of the National Working Committee yesterday, where President advised that all litigations should be withdrawn, and then no further litigation, we now see the faction supported or that support the suspended chairman heading to court again. Does that actually now swing the pendulum to who is actually bad or who is good in this scenario?
Well, if the suspended national chairman Adams Oshomole and his faction happens to go to court, they could be right by law, because the party have never said that the human rights should not be maintained. Okay. Human right is part of the Nigerian constitution, and they have it. And as a party, although the president is the #1 party man as an APC leader, but now he has become the president of the nation, not of APC. And sometimes the decision made or recommendations from him could be jettisoned on human rights ground or on citizens ground or on party grounds. So for that reason, the APC substantial or suspended, the suspended substantial chairman of the APC, Adams Oshomole, and his faction could head to court. Because if you look at the constitution of the party, especially in that context of the section 25 of the APC constitution, that states that he is the legitimate chairman, and if suspended, the acting chairman, which was Victor Guardian that they brought now, was deputy. He wasn't qualified even to be the acting chairman, but by level of ascendancy, he became the chairman. He became the acting chairman in that capacity. Now, there is something that happened before the NEC meeting was called at the presidential villa. Okay. And that was the fact that before any convention, that is National Executive Committee or convention be held, there is supposed to be a 14 days notice.
Ordered by the chairman.
Ordered by the chairman. Or perhaps, if it is on a case of emergency, a 7 days notice should be given to the people that will convene as National Executive Council of the party. But in the case of Victor Giadam, that wasn't done. And that was why the primary in Edo State went on the ground of that law. Because the notification or the endorsement of Victor Giadam as the national acting chairman has not been substantiated even by law. His case was still pending in court. Now that it was adopted by the law that he's the substantial chairman, that is 3 days after the Edo primaries. So Edo primary stands. Okay. You understand?
I wanted to ask that question.
Yeah, severally you said that he was like the deputy national secretary. So he wasn't qualified to be chairman. So what must have informed him to think that he could be the acting chairman in the absence of Oshomole, and
or the national secretary?
Yeah, and also the fact that even the same president said that he believes that the law is on the side of Giadam, so it's the reason why he was going to attend the meeting called by Victor Giadam. Yes,
that was already done. When the law became on the side of Giadam was after it's supposed to be after the 14 days. He was actually suspended. There was a court injunction nullified his stand as acting national chairman. You understand? After that of Oshomole was lifted. So the time has not been expired, So why assuming the chairmanship? It was when the time expired, and that was after Edo primaries. Get it in code. The time expired after Edo's primaries. You cannot assume authority of power when the court has, have injunction against you.
Okay.
You understand? So now, 3 days after, he became a substantial acting chairman. 3 days after Edo's primary election.
How did a deputy secretary rise to become an acting national chairman?
That
when
is,
you had other vice chairmen.
That is the shenanigan. That is the shenanigan or the charlatanism that we are looking inside the constitution of the APC.
Okay.
You understand? And that is why some people are saying that was motivated by some power brokers within the party who felt that Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Adams Oshomole-led national chairmanship are gearing for 2023 from now, and they are trying to break their wings before they fly.
Okay, so I was also going to concern, since you're talking about the constitution of the APC, now there's also a section of the this constitution that says that the party NEC or NWC are not going to be like people who already are in government offices cannot concurrently hold office position in the party's NWC or the party's NEC.
Yeah,
but in this caretakers committee now, you have a governor, an elected officer who is going to be the chairman of the caretaker, and then we have other governors also making up part of that committee. And then you also have the fact that it was the AGF that swore this man in or gave him the oath of office.
Which man? Oshomole?
No, AGF.
Bonny,
AGF
that
gave Bonny the oath of office, the swearing in that was done at the State House. Now, all of this, it's on the plane, it seems to be contrary to the APC's constitution.
And that is why I said they have their right to head to court. You understand?
Who should go to court?
That is Oshomole
faction.
and the authentic National Working Committee that was said to have been dissolved by Mr. President. And I quite don't see any reason why an Attorney General will become a partisan person, if you ask me. You understand? Because if he was there at all to swear the interim committee in, and I think that again is going to be nullified. It's not going to hold water because the party constitution did not stipulate that the Attorney General of the Federation, it is not a federal government affair, it's a party affair. You understand? And he is the Attorney General of the Federation, not Attorney General of the APC.
And it's also a member of the party.
Perhaps he's a member of the National Working Committee. And if he's a member of the National Working Committee and he's saddled with that responsibility, then so be it. But
is it possible that
he should not be addressed,
a minister, a government official, and then we still be a member of the NWC?
And that is why we look at the whole thing that I played yesterday like something that the president just want to use this avenue to a kind of cushion the crisis in the APC and say, look, let's settle this thing and forget about this. Threaten the various warring factions and say, party first, you understand? Party first before any other thing. That is what the president, to me, in his wisdom, did yesterday. And that, again, empowers the suspended national chairman, Oshomole, and in fact, the National Working Committee, the members therein, to go to court. They can win their case in the court. And that will not be seen as disrespect to the president, because in acting capacity, like the committee is founded, the governor, like you said, is a titled office holder and a state agent, the state #1 agent of his state, Yobe State, and by the party's constitution, he is not qualified to be substantiated as acting chairman of a political party. As a matter of fact, it is wrong because he's governor. And a governor, like the president, governs the people and not the political parties where they came from. And for that reason, I think it is important and, in fact, paramount for Oshomole to go to court and the National Working Committee to reclaim their mandate, to reclaim their substantial mandate as the All Progressive Congress National Working Committee and chairman as well. Okay,
I want us to talk about, since you were talking about what actually led to Gaidam coming into the picture and all, and then some other litigation surrounding his legitimate person to occupy the position he was actually trying to occupy before. We recall that he was part of the NWC before he had to contest a position in his state.
You mean Yobe State?
No, I'm talking about
Gaidam.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a part of the story that actually stand against him, why he can't even act. And then we're trying to look at what actually led to the vacuum and the crisis. Or is it because Ajimobi, who is supposed to be the acting chairman, if Oshomole happens to be suspended, should step in? Is it because he was sick?
I think because he was sick.
And then before you answer finally, where did ETA come in?
Well, ETA is from from her own region.
Okay.
You know, the party is divided into 6 geopolitical zones, where each zone have their own subordinating the national chairman. So you have the
vice chairman,
Southwest vice chairman, North Central vice chairman, South vice chairman, Southwest, Southeast, and
It's another episode of Healthy Living. I am Lillian Ambi, still on the rainy season disease. Today I will be talking on the topic typhoid. Typhoid is another waterborne bacterial infection caused by bacteria called Salmonella. This disease is caused by contaminated food, drinking food, or water contaminated with feces of an infected person. Diagnosis is made by any blood, bone marrow or stool culture, and with the Weidel test. Typhoid is also an infectious disease, also known as enteric fever or just typhoid, that spread through contaminated food and water or through close contact with someone who is infected. Signs of typhoid include you have headache, loss of appetite, either diarrhea or constipation, abdominal discomfort, you'll be unhappy, restless, you will feel dejected. These are ways to prevent them. Avoid drinking untreated water. Boil water before drinking. Boil it for at least 2 to 3 minutes, or do water chlorination. Cook food well and always cover food to prevent contamination from flies and other insects. Avoid eating unsanitary street vended foods. Wash hands with soap and water after using the toilet and before eating. Keep surroundings clean to prevent breeding of flies. Get immunized with World Health Organization pre-qualified oral injectable vaccine. Thank you for watching today's episode. Remember, your health is your wealth. Don't joke with that.
Precisely, in fact, I don't know the meaning of POS.
Can you tell me the meaning of POS?
Payment of service.
Payment of service. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Very, very sure.
Yes, sir.
Passover service.
I don't know because I've even asked my boss the meaning of the POS and I don't know. I've not gotten the answer. I don't know the meaning.
The acronym that POS. Do you know the full meaning? Can you tell me the full meaning?
I don't know.
You were not informed too. Continue.
Let me just try is payment open service.
Will you keep quiet?
People organization service.
Chai.
Payment organization services. I don't even know.
I don't go shame us. Where no waiting they do.
Really, I don't really know. I just had the idea of POS. Maybe I think it's personal organization system.
POS is people. P stand for people. And O, organization. S is for state. Point of. Is this service or something? I don't even understand. I don't even know the full meaning.
POS. Nah, I don't forget that move. I don't know. I know it at all.
But you know it before? You know it before?
I know before.
Well, I don't know the meaning. What I just know is just that I go there and collect my money and make use of it.
Can you tell me the full meaning of that POS?
Point of sale.
Thank you, sir. Point of savings. Tell me the full meaning of POS. That P and OS. Full meaning.
The full meaning. The full meaning. The full meaning is in fact, I cannot tell the. I cannot.
What I want to ask you, can you tell me the full meaning of that POS? That P and OS.
It's point of sale.
Point of sale. Thank you, sir.
You.
Do you use POS?
Yes.
POS. When did you use POS last?
Maybe last week.
Last week. Okay. What I want to ask you, but what is full meaning of that POS?
POS. I don't know.
Okay, let's start from P. What is the full meaning of that P there?
Private.
Well, the O. Okay, the S.
I don't know.
What is full meaning of POS?
Private of service.
Okay, look my camera and say it again.
Private of service.
Private of service.
Yeah.
Can you say that again?
Private of service.
Yeah, thank you. But have you used POS before?
Yes, I do.
When last did you use it?
Today.
Today? Yes. Okay, what I want to ask you, can you tell me the full meaning of that POS?
POS. I don't know.
Okay, let's start from P. Can you tell me just the P?
I don't know.
Okay. What about the O? At least one of them I can. POS.
It's like I know, but I forget. The thing just went up my mind.
Let's see if you can remember it now. The P or the O, the S. Then you should remember one now. You can remember all of them. Hope you know.
I'm trying to remember, but I can't remember.
Let's go back to, okay, let's see. Just try P.
That's a
so you can't try again now. This is okay. Let's go for the O or S.
It's something P or social service.
Between using POS and going to bank, which one is more do you prefer?
I prefer POS.
Yes. Why?
Yeah, I'm not used to bank
Okay.
because of the line.
Okay. What I want to ask you, can you tell me when last you used POS?
When last? I use it today.
Today. Okay. Can you tell me the full meaning of that POS? My young camera. My don't focus on your camera. Your camera is looking at you.
Hey!
Come interview me now.
So me go interview you.
Yeah, just after you first now. Camera is looking at you. Okay, let's start from this. The P. Let's start from the P. Can you tell me the P?
POS.
Do you use POS?
Yes.
Do you prefer between POS and going to bank? Which one is more better?
POS.
POS?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me the full meaning of the POS?
I don't know.
Let's just try POS. Let's just try.
I don't know, like seriously.
And you can't try?
Yeah.
What about the P? The P inside you can't try, get any of them? Any of them can get?
Yes.
Preferably POS. Consider where you live.